It is time for more Mortal Kombats. Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and today the entertainment for me is playing through the story mode for Mortal Kombat 9. This is episode 4 for this playthrough, so a quick recap could be useful. At the beginning of the game, we start off in the future. And in the future, we see that Shao Khan, the emperor of another dimension called Outworld, has become invincible and he intends to conquer or destroy all of the other dimensions. Anyone who would have opposed him is about to die or is already dead. The very last survivor for Earth is their thunder god, Raiden. And unfortunately, he's about to die too. Now, before dying, he sends a message to himself in the past to help prevent the Emperor from becoming invincible and starting an unstoppable conquest. The message to his past self is just one sentence, and that sentence is, he must win. And as expected, playing the pronoun game instead of actually saying a person's name has become confusing. The Raiden of the past who got the message thought that it meant that Liu Kang must win against Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat tournament, and that would prevent Earth from being merged into Outworld where Shao Kahn could then go and conquer it. Well, that interpretation was wrong. And that's because Liu Kang in the old timeline also won that tournament, and it did not stop Shao Kahn. Then after winning that tournament, Raiden is propositioned to do one more Mortal Kombat tournament. And in this one, if Earth wins, there will be no more challenges to merge the Earth with Outworld anymore. And if Outworld wins, well, that merger and hostile takeover finally happens. Raiden reluctantly agrees since Outworld has taken a few hostages and the tournament is underway. While Raiden continues to try figuring out that vague message from his future self, we are controlling the Lin Kuei duo, Smoke and Sub-Zero. Well, the new Sub-Zero anyway. That one's name is Kuai Liang. Both were looking for answers regarding what happened to the old Sub-Zero, Bi-Han. Smoke nearly gets captured by his Lin Kuei clan, who thought he ran away from becoming a cyborg and mistakenly thought that he was running away because he was actually investigating a death. Now, Raiden saves him, so Smoke does not get taken back to become a cyborg. We also end up controlling Jax, who ends up saving Sonya from the hostage situation before getting his arms ripped off by Ermac. We then control Sub-Zero, the new Sub-Zero, who is looking for answers for what happened to his old Sub-Zero brother. Well, he ends up stopping Ermac and inadvertently sort of saving Jax. And in the process, he finds out that his brother's killer was Scorpion. And then after figuring out Scorpion was the one who killed his brother, the new Sub-Zero goes to the Coliseum, challenges Scorpion to a fight to the death, and he ends up winning it. But before he can kill Scorpion, or I guess re-kill him, the robot Lin Kuei find the new Sub-Zero and capture him to take him back to Earthrealm to eventually become a cyborg. And while they were there, the robot Lin Kuei pledged allegiance to Shao Kahn to keep him from getting upset about the tournament crashing that they were doing. Shao Kahn accepts the allegiance and also gets very angry with his daughter Kitana for being terrible security and allowing so many uninvited assassins to interrupt the tournament. And this is where we pick things off, starting to control Kitana, who is upset about being told off by her dad.
Reptile wins. Fatality.
Is this how you show your loyalty, Jade?
Kitana,
You follow me when I clearly wish to be alone. Then you upbraid me? I will not be scolded like some child.
You need to be careful. I have never seen your father this angry with you. You are a princess. He expects more from you than this.
I know what he expects.
We will talk later, when you are in more of a mind to listen.
Princess Kitana, I request an audience.
Earthrealmers, you dare approach me.
Hey, listen, honey. We don't want to fight.
But we will if we must.
You will learn respect.
Round 1. Fight!
Alright, the Kitana chapter has officially started. Now, you would think that since Kitana lost to Smoke earlier, that she would have no chance against Smoke now, especially now that he has Johnny Cage backing him up. But keep in mind, she got a power-up. And what power-up is that? Well, that would be the power-up of, I don't need your approval, Dad. And thanks to being mad at her father, she is going to win this fight. And then whenever she wins this fight, she is going to live out her Romeo and Juliet character arc. And what I mean by that is once the Earth has been merged into Outworld, She is going to be like, screw you, Dad, I'm moving out, and I'm going to go stay with my Shaolin Earth Monk boyfriend in his apartment. And yes, he is thousands of years younger than me, just so you know. Yep, that's how I imagine that is going to go down. Oh, those angsty 10,000-year-old princesses. Anyway, enough about the random family bullshit. This is a 2-on-1 fight, so it is going to take forever to win. So I need to think of a little bit more to talk about here. Let me think. Oh, I know. Anyone else feel like we're missing out on a really cool cutscene or an explanation for the massacred bodies in the background? There was clearly an epic battle here, and we are not getting any sort of a breakdown on it. Instead, we are just getting the upset princess storyline. After all, there is no way we would want to hear about the last stand that everyone in the background died in. So since we are not going to get any more details on it, I'm just going to go ahead and say rest in peace, you random no-name bastards in the background. Your corpses are just going to end up being used as stage decorations, and we are going to appreciate you. You will be missed. Wow, okay, I guess this fight is still going on. I've already mentioned it, but that is the big downside of these 2-on-1 fights. They end up taking much, much longer than a 1-on-1 kind of fight. And the other place I think I may have seen this stage, or at least something very similar to it, is in the very next game, Mortal Kombat 10. Now, I'm not going to give anything away for that game, at least not yet. After all, I am going to be playing it immediately after Mortal Kombat 9. But, in Mortal Kombat 10, there is a stage that you get to fight on that is on a dock, so it's kind of a shipyard, similar to what we have here. And I'm wondering if it is supposed to be the same kind of area, just redesigned for the new game. It would be kind of cool to see the creators of Mortal Kombat keeping the continuity between Mortal Kombat 9 and 10 and trying to recreate a stage like this, only with the idea that maybe it would be sometime after the events of this game.
Kitana wins.
Shao Khan wants death to follow combat. I will give it to him.
Perhaps Liu Kang was wrong about you. Or perhaps he sensed, as I do, that there is conflict within you.
Thanks. Ow. You couldn't have seen that in one of your hot flashes?
Something whispers to you that circumstances should be different. That you should be different. You are much more like Sindel than Shao Khan. But she is dead.
My mother is dead, yes. Why do you...
You need answers, Kitana. I can help you find them if you will trust in me. Go to Shang Tsung's flesh pits. Much will be revealed there.
The flesh pits? But I am forbidden to...
Yes, you are. And why is that?
I don't know. Tell me.
You must discover your true path, alone.
Does anyone else feel like that was way too easy? Raiden is basically a stranger to Kitana, and he is hanging out with Smoke, a guy who beat her unconscious on that same beach earlier. Seems like she should be a little bit more skeptical than this.
Show yourself, Jade. I know you're following me. Again.
Following you still. I know where you're going. I am ordered to prevent you from going there.
And why is that?
I do not question the Emperor's commands. Kitana, please, turn back.
I cannot. This path might lead me to the truth. I'm sorry, Jade, but I will not allow you to stop me.
Round 1. Fight!
Wait a minute. Jade was apparently following Kitana the entire time. And if that is the case, she is the worst bodyguard ever. After all, that would imply that she was there the entire time while Kitana had to fight against Johnny Cage and Smoke at the same time by herself. Where were you on that one, Jade? That fight against two people would have been a hell of a lot easier if I had some backup. You are so lucky that Kitana is going to check out her dad's secret don't go in there room. Or she would totally tell on you. Like, at what point did Jade start following Kitana? I mean, was she just taking a stroll through the living forest and happened to see Kitana and thought to herself, oh shit, that's right, I do have a job that I'm supposed to be doing right now. Well, I guess I had better start getting on that. Yeah, I am beginning to understand why Shao Khan was so mad. He is ruling over some very incompetent people. Honestly, man, it may be time to go ahead and start cleaning house and get an entirely new staff. Alright, Jade is within X-ray range, so if we land this, we win the match and we can call it done.
Get up.
Kitana wins.
I tried to warn you. This is something I have to do.
Well, that is it for Kitana's bodyguard Jade following her around. Now it is off to the flesh pits. And with a name like that, it is either going to be a gory torture room or Shang Tsung's gentleman's club. Actually, considering it is Shang, it could easily be both. He is, after all, a very murder-happy and soul-stealing sorcerer. I'm sure he is into some weird shit. Ah, fuck, it's a torture room and a gentleman's club, isn't it?
What in the name of... She looks like... me. Huh? Sister... So pretty, so fair, so sad and alone. Come, let us be a family. You are not my family. You are a monstrosity.
Round 1, fight!
Well, it is time to fight against Melina in one of the most awkward-ass costumes in this entire game. I mean, I say this costume is awkward, but it's honestly not much less clothing than every other woman in this game. The creators were definitely targeting a very specific demographic with all these character design choices. Anyway, enough about that. This is Melina. She has not been officially introduced by name yet, but that is who she is. As hinted at by the science experiments in the tubes in the background, she is the final stage of the attempts to clone Kitana. Melina is going to be the Frankenstein's monster character of the Mortal Kombat franchise. Despite the facial features, she is not born a monster. She is just intended to be turned into one by her creator. Also, being born into adulthood means she has no emotional development or maturity. So you end up with a very powerful weapon without any reasonable judgment and no positive guidance. In a way, Melina is meant to be a really tragic character. But instead of leaning into the complexities of that kind of a story, we just get her with provocatively placed bandages. Feels like a very large missed opportunity just being replaced with some cheap fan service. But this is a franchise about excessive kills and fights to the death, so maybe I'm looking for positives in the wrong place.
Kitana wins.
Farewell, sister.
That is no way to treat your sibling.
Despicable swine. Do you think my father will stand for these abominations you have created here?
I am merely perfecting you, princess. As difficult as that might be.
Silence! I will drag you before Shao Khan by your pointed beard.
Round 1, fight!
That is right, Shang. You are going to answer for what you did. And we will remove all of the creepy Kitana fetish copies that you have made in this weird torture room. Generally, I do not kink shame, but it is clear to me that you are just cloning new life forms for some sort of a screwed up fantasy that you have, and I'm not okay with that. Jokes aside, Melina was made with a purpose in mind. Part of the reason that she was made was to become a weapon. And the other part of the reason that she was made, well, Shang still needs to explain that part. But we will get to that eventually. Oh, and after that last fight, for a person who has no life experience, Mileena was pretty incredible as a fighter. It makes you wonder why Shang Tsung did not lead with this whenever he was about to get executed for losing that last Mortal Kombat tournament. I mean, if Shang Tsung could just make fighters like this on his own, there was really nothing to stress about. Shang could have just created countless Mileena copies to participate in the next 10 tournaments. I mean, even if Earth had the better fighters, it is still a hand-to-hand combat tournament. Hundreds or thousands of Mileenas would eventually wear down all of the Earthrealm fighters, and Outworld would eventually win. Seems like Shang Tsung was sitting on an obvious solution to his problems. But no, let's do this winner-takes-all tournament instead, and we're going to use the exact same Outworld fighters as before, all the ones that lost. And on top of that, we're going to have all the same fighters that lost before go against the exact same people from Earthrealm that they lost to. So yeah, we're not going to change anything but the location of the tournament. I'm sure it'll go much better this time. Totally logical. Honestly, it makes about as much sense as the Shaolin monks only sending one fighter to a tournament to the death where the entire world is at stake. Just where do people get these ideas? They all just kind of seem like the ideas, or possibly the lack of ideas, from people who just do not want to win even though it means the extinction of their entire species and, other not so great things. Just a bit of advice, whenever it comes to the entire destruction of a world, make better decisions. And maybe don't put the entire livelihood of an entire dimension at stake for a martial arts tournament. Just a thought.
Get up. You will stand before my father and confess your deeds. I would not disturb you, Father, if this matter were not of utmost importance. I felt you should know what Shang Tsung has been doing as of late. This conjurer has created horrid replicas of me, crossbred with Tarkatan blood. One was alive and attacked me.
Well done, sorcerer.
You know? You approve? How could you? My own father!
I am your emperor! Your father was a weakling Edenian king. I annihilated him while merging his realm with Outworld, and took his queen as my wife. If only I had not allowed Sindel to convince me of your worth. But now, I have a true daughter!
Raiden was right. You have lied to me my entire life.
Escort her to the tower. I will make an example of her. Return to the flesh pits. Bring me my daughter, Mileena.
I failed you, Kitana. Now I will make amends.
That is all of them. That is no toy! It belongs to Shang Tsung. We are finished. Return to your post.
Stand aside. I will see Kitana.
No one enters the tower.
You are an excellent guard dog, Baraka. But you must learn to heal.
I do not take orders from you.
Round
Fight!
So, we got a few different reveals to unpack from that last cutscene. While we pilot Jade against Baraka, we'll go ahead and go over those. The very first reveal that I want to go over is that Shao Khan is not Kitana's father. Shao Khan actually has already merged a dimension with Outworld in the exact same way that he wants to do to Earthrealm, and once it was merged, he ended up conquering it as well. That previous dimension that he conquered is called Edenia. Shao Kahn ended up killing the king of Edenia, someone who was named Jared, and King Jared's queen was a woman named Sindel. And Sindel was forced into being Shao Kahn's wife after he killed the king and conquered Edenia. As part of the arrangement, Sindel haggled with Shao Kahn to spare her daughter's life. So Kitana is in no way related to Shao Kahn by blood. Shao Kahn just spared Kitana's life so that Sindel would be compliant. And she was, all up to the point that she died under mysterious circumstances. But despite Sindel dying, Shao Kahn kept his word and he took care of Kitana. And Kitana was so young that she had no idea Shao Kahn was not her father. Now, the Mortal Kombat lore is a little bit iffy on whether or not Kitana knew about her heritage while under Shao Kahn's guardianship, just depending on which game it is. But in this game, it firmly establishes that she had no clue that Shao Kahn was not her father until now. So it is safe to assume that Kitana was not expecting that "you're not my real dad" moment. And Shao Kahn was pretty quick to say, "I don't care about you, you're adopted. I'm going to go ahead and get my real kid. I don't care if she's a test tube baby, she's still more of a real daughter to me than you."
Good boy.
Edenians have no loyalty.
Blind loyalty is not a good thing, as I have learned. You must keep your eyes open to anticipate the finishing blow.
What are you talking?
You make it too easy.
You had not dishonored yourself by... My orders are clear. No one is allowed in the tower.
As you can see, I am here.
Here to help the princess escape. You would deny her execution? The only means of regaining her honor?
We have very different concepts of honor, Shao Kahn.
Round 1, fight!
And before I cover the other thing that Shao Kahn revealed, let's acknowledge what our new character is doing. After Kitana, we switched to using her bodyguard Jade as the new chapter character. Up to this point, Jade has been defending Kitana, and that's about it. Jade cares about Kitana, but made it clear at one point in the last chapter that she is more loyal to the Emperor than anything else. Well, at least that was the case before she overheard the whole cloning Kitana thing and then her being imprisoned and soon to be executed. After Jade heard that, she had a change of heart and said that Shao Kahn is an asshole and I'm going to go save my buddy that I have been sticking my neck out for the entire game. So now it is time for Jade to go defend Kitana one more time and save her from her execution. So far, so good. The attempt to get her out of the execution nonsense has been going well. She ended up beating Baraka like everyone else in this game has, and now she is fighting Shiva. And this fight is taking place with Kitana not too far away. This plan is working out excellently, and rescuing Kitana has gone far better than anything else that Jade has done in this game so far. So let's go ahead and go back to the other big reveal. And that reveal was that Shang Tsung was making the clones on Shao Kahn's orders. It seems that Shao Kahn is wanting a better heir to the throne. Blood relation or not, Kitana was raised as an heir to Shao Kahn. Only he kind of views her as a fuck-up, especially after her part in the last Mortal Kombat tournament that she lost, and being terrible at maintaining order for the new tournament. I guess it is implied that this kind of screwing up goes further back, far enough that he thinks he needs a better heir, and has already approached Shang Tsung about cloning a new daughter. And I'll go ahead and wrap up this fight with Shiva, and after I get done fighting her, we'll get into the whole topic of the new daughter for Shao Kahn again, and kind of explain more about that going forward.
Not much of a jailer, are you? Now then, Your Highness, let us see how quickly we can remove these bonds.
Jade, I
am too.
Go. Find Raiden. Ask for his help.
That should distance me from any pursuers.
Others pursue. I find.
By the gods, You are Melina.
You must return with me. There's to be a celebration for my sister. She's going away.
Round 1. Fight!
And as we saw in the cutscene with Shao Khan, he has named that new daughter Melina. Now, the choice of words from Shao Khan was pretty interesting. He called Melina his true daughter. Now, that could be him saying that he could really mold her in his image, but there could be more to it than that. At least stuff that's not being blatantly said. Now, considering that Melina was cloned from Kitana, but also mixed with Tarkatan DNA, it seems like there was some flexibility on how she was made. After all, that mix of genetics is exactly why she ends up with some monster-like features. Shang Tsung could have also just mixed in some of Shao Kahn's DNA as well. And if that were the case, that would actually make Melina sort of actually a blood daughter of Shao Kahn. Or in his words, a true daughter. Now, I don't know any of that for a fact, and I don't think there's anything that actually confirms it, but that's kind of what I'm thinking happened here. It makes sense to me that Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung might do something like that, considering they were already making her a hybrid of Kitana anyway. And if you weren't going to make an exact copy, why not make her actually blood-related? And if they did end up using Shao Kahn's DNA as well, mixed in with Tarkatan DNA and Kitana's DNA, that is a pretty lethal combination. We're talking about an individual that can throw some razor-sharp fans, throw some hammers, throw some energy javelins, have some Tarkatan swords coming out of their arms, have razor-sharp fangs. I'm not really sure where the Melina teleporting comes into play, but you know what? Who knows what else Shang Tsung mixed in there. Bottom line, they created something deadly and scary.
I am more of a sister to Kitana than you. I must find Raiden.
He is here.
Kitana turns away from Shao Kahn, so you attack her rather than join her?
This is not
Smoke, stop! That is not Kitana.
You will come no closer.
Round 1. Fight!
Initially in this altercation, I thought to myself that this is a lot of jumping to conclusions from Smoke. Multiple people are telling him to wait, something is up, we need to actually consider the situation more. But he is just not listening to any of it, not even from Raiden. It just seems like a lot of rash decision making that's not very helpful. But then I remember what kind of a day it has been for Smoke. And the kind of day that it has been a very, very rough one. He found out his old buddy Sub-Zero died, and that his clan was hiding it from him the entire time. And that forced him to have to sneak into a foreign world with his other buddy, New Sub-Zero. Then he was nearly betrayed by his clan and taken back to Earth to be forced into being a cyborg against his will. And then he had to watch New Sub-Zero be captured and returned to Earth so he could be turned into a cyborg. So yeah, it's not been a very good day for him. I understand why he might be a little bit stressed out and going into rash decisions. Oh, and let's not forget that this is now the third fight that he has had to do on this beach battlefield. That is a lot of time to be fighting around a large number of corpses. I would be pretty pissed off and irritated too. Bottom line, this guy is cracking and barely holding together right now.
Too easy.
Jade wins.
I did not wish to do that. Lord Raiden, I come at the request
Lord? I was with Smoke. I thought she was a bad guy. Girl. Guess he turned another one. What's Raiden got that I haven't got?
Godlike power?
A personality that is not at all like sanding paper?
Jerks.
He will be executed. Kitana does not have much time.
Kitana? Executed? Where is she?
Held captive in the tower of Shao Kahn's fortress.
I am not pleased with this outcome either, Liu Kang. But there is no time. We must return to the tournament.
But you are responsible for her capture! You persuaded her to turn against Shao Kahn!
Lord Raiden, we can free her as others fight in our stead, and join you thereafter.
Very well.
We will meet you at the Colosseum.
I hope your girlfriend is worth Lord Raiden's anger, Liu Kang.
Notice that I am ignoring you.
They must have relocated Kitana.
We have indeed. We knew someone would come for her. May you join her in death. Round 1. Fight!
Alright, it is time to switch to Kung Lao for this chapter. It will be good to give him some wins, especially since his only noteworthy action up to this point has been losing to Scorpion towards the very beginning of the game. It has been a long time coming, and he is due a comeback. And he is going to have it during this little rescue mission for Kitana. Now, Raiden was hesitant to allow his arguably best fighters to participate in this little rescue mission to save a person who up to this point has been fighting on the enemy side. Now, I will say that saving Kitana is probably the right good guy protagonisty hero thing to do. However, I don't actually think it is the right thing to do. It pains me to say this since I have been saying he sucks at his job the entire video, but I actually agree with Raiden on this one thing. Risking the lives of your very best fighters to save a member of the enemy team in a tournament that determines the fate of all of mankind is dumb. At the end of the day, Kitana is just one person. If they lose this tournament, billions of people are going to lose their lives. But no, Liu Kang isn't viewing it that way. Liu Kang is thinking about awkwardly hitting on her back in the first tournament.
Kung Lao wins.
Be thankful I choose not to spill your tainted blood. Who are you? There is something familiar. Do you need help? 4 arms against 2 is hardly a fair fight.
Liu Kang?
You have had your match against Liu Kang. Now you will face me!
Round 1. Fight!
Anyway, back to what I was saying, Liu Kang is risking the entire fate of mankind on saving Kitana. And he also kind of comes across like a horny teenager who is arguing with his parents about a dumb high school relationship. Makes you just want to say, shut up and do your homework. Oh, wait a minute, we're in a tournament to the death. Wrong line, wrong line. Stop risking the lives of an entire planet over someone that you fought against one time? Yeah, that sounds better. As more time has gone by, I have to think that Kung Lao was right. He was probably the one that they should have chosen to fight for Earthrealm in the first place. Liu Kang is really coming across like an idiot. It is cool that we got to fight against Noob Saibot in the very last fight. He was kind of a late addition to this game, at least in the events of the Mortal Kombat 2 portion of this game, but him being introduced here makes plenty of sense. Noob Saibot was a hidden character back in Mortal Kombat 2, and since that is the part of the timeline that we're playing through right now in Mortal Kombat 9, it is cool that they kind of found a place to add him into the tournament so that he technically is being introduced in the same time period that he was introduced in the old timeline. After all, even if he was a hidden fight, I mean, he was there. And now, Kung Lao gets to face off against Goro, which is a pretty awesome matchup too.
Kung Lao wins.
Now if you have any honor left, you will tell us where Kitana is.
She has been taken to the Colosseum, where she has no doubt been executed.
You lie!
She may yet live. Let us go. There's Kitana.
I must free her.
Not now. Smoke and Johnny Cage have been defeated, and I no longer sense Jackson Briggs or Sonya Blade's presence in Outworld. Despite my doubts as to whether you are Earthrealm's savior, you must fight.
But I am not he who must win.
Raiden! Put forth a worthy champion, if you can.
Perhaps you are meant to be the victor.
You will face Shang Tsung and Quan Chi.
No Earthrealm boy can stop this deadly alliance.
On that, we agree.
Round 1. Fight!
Now, Goro ended up killing Kung Lao's ancestor to become the champion of Mortal Kombat centuries ago. The ancestor that he killed is referred to as the Great Kung Lao, and he was the main guy keeping Earthrealm from being merged from Mortal Kombat centuries ago. I guess since they share a name, the modern-day Kung Lao was probably named after him, which, being named after one of the greatest fighters on Earth, or in all of Earth's history, that's a pretty bold move. Just sounds like more wishful thinking naming from the parents. Kind of reminds me of that whole tangent I went on earlier about parents naming their kids Cyrax or Sector. It's a lot of expectations you're putting on your kids, people. Anyway, I'm off topic. So, Kung Lao gets to win against the person that killed his ancestor. And that's kind of nice to see. I have to say I'm liking it. Early on, Kung Lao is getting some pretty big wins. Considering that Kung Lao just took down Goro and is now getting the chance to defeat Shang Tsung and Quan Chi, it is hard not to wonder if he could have actually won the first Mortal Kombat tournament had he not initially lost to Scorpion. I mean, the guy is giving Liu Kang a run for his money. Throw in a match against Ermac and a rematch against Scorpion, and Kung Lao will have beaten all the same characters as Liu Kang. And to think the Shaolin monks were not even going to include him on any of the tournaments originally. With that much bad decision making with so much on the line, it kind of feels like they wanted to lose. And now that I've said that out loud, I am beginning to think to myself that there is an insider threat at the Wuxi Academy. I think one of those monks is a double agent. And I think they are deliberately sabotaging Earthrealm so they eventually get merged into Outworld. I mean, I'm pretty sure whoever it is has already been buying up property in the Outworld real estate market. And now they are preparing for a new life and a new dimension. It makes you wonder if they were originally from Outworld and then just joined the Academy to help out their homeworld, or if this person was originally from Earth and then just got sick of the monk life. You know what? I bet it was one of the Mortal Kombat season ticket holders. They were sick of never getting to see the final championship fight against Goro. After all, they always hold it in the prison area where no one gets to see it. So then they went to the complaint department. They called up Reptile. Oh, remember, Reptile has no speaking lines in this entire game, so there was nothing he could ever do or say to help out this guy. And because there was no response, all of the requests for a refund were just getting declined. And that's when whoever this mysterious monk is, well, he went to Raiden for help. And Raiden just said, trust in the Elder Gods. And that just pissed off the guy more because it's not like the Elder Gods are coming down from the afterlife to give him his money back. So in order to get all of his money back and more, he wagers a bunch of money on Outworld to win 10 tournaments in a row. Because the odds of that actually happening are insanely low. So if he ends up pulling it off, he's going to be getting a bunch of cash. I mean, he would have to be rich if he actually got that bet correct. So in order to make sure that happened and that Outworld got 10 victories in a row, he started sabotaging everything he could from the Wuxi Academy. And one of the biggest things he did was make sure that only one Shaolin monk was sent to go fight for Earthrealm. I mean, it's kind of hard to win when you only send one guy. And after careful consideration, I think that is why Kung Lao had to sneak into the first Mortal Kombat tournament of this game, and why Earthrealm has lost so many times in a row before. We can blame it all on poor customer service and this guy not getting a refund, and it almost ended the world. And I'm willing to bet that the guy that was sabotaging everything was Bo Raicho. And he probably thought up the whole thing while drunk as fuck. After all, that is kind of his character's whole gimmick. Now all of this is super non-canon and me just ranting in order to kill some time, but it will live forever in my head canon. And that's all that really matters. Oh, also, I name-dropped Bo Raicho earlier. If you don't know who that is, don't worry, I'm doing you a favor by not explaining it too much. Terrible character. Oh, come on, Quan Chi, can you please just hurry up and die already? You weren't even in Mortal Kombat 2. I don't even know why you're here now. Let's just go ahead and get this over with, knock you out, and then move on to the next part of this chapter. And until you become more important to the story, I don't want to see you again.
Wins.
It is done!
No, Kung Lao. Not nearly so.
I will eat your heart. Round 1. Fight!
Next up, we have Kintaro. And seeing him now, I have to say that he was way more intimidating looking in the arcade version of Mortal Kombat 2. Here in Mortal Kombat 9, he just looks like Kitty Cat Goro. So, super quick explanation time. The four-armed half-dragon people known as the Shao Khan, they happen to have a class system where some of them are favored more than others. For example, the more human-like ones, like Goro and Shiva, they are considered high class. Then there are the more tiger-like Shao Kahn, like Kintaro here, and they are considered lesser. Now, keeping that in mind, Kintaro is kind of an inspiration to that class of people, since he is a top-tier warrior among all Shao Kahn, even among the high-class ones. But of course, we do not get to see any of that valor here, as Kung Lao is going to take him down with minimal difficulty. Sadly, Kintaro comes across less as a half-dragon, half-savage murder cat, and more like a Shao Kahn who just stumbled into the arena after a rehearsal for the Outworld rendition of Cats. Because yeah, I could definitely see Kintaro being the type of guy who was into musicals. I'm sure he's been preparing to audition for West Side Story as well and just hasn't told anybody yet. After all, it was all the rehearsals for Cats that made him miss the first Mortal Kombat tournament anyway. He's just lucky that this tournament's being held on one of the days where they're not rehearsing. And unfortunately for the thespian Kintaro, he is not the main character, and he is not the one we are controlling for this chapter, which means Kintaro is going to lose. He is going to forget his lines, he is going to forget his blocking for this scene. He's going to look to director Shao Kahn and be like, what is my motivation? Shao Kahn is just going to look at him and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Win, you dumbass. Then Kintaro is going to get a very sudden case of stage fright, and then lose the entire thing.
You see, Raiden? Earthrealm is free!
Kung Lao! No! I will strip the flesh from your bones!
Witness, boy. Do you know who I am?
The murderer of my friend.
I am Shao Kahn, conqueror of worlds. You will taste no victory.
You will taste your own blood.
Round 1. Fight!
Hurry, Raiden! Use the healing lightning that you used on Jax at the beginning of the game. You can use that to save Kung Lao. I can't help but notice that you're not doing anything, Raiden. Oh, right. I forgot that you were forced to forget that you could do that amazing power, because it would be just too damn useful to use it to fix things like Kung Lao's neck, or save Jax's arms, or heal the beat-to-shit Johnny Cage who just lost to Ermac. It's not like you could use any more reinforcements. Why would you heal them? Oh god, Raiden, you fucking suck. So I will openly admit that I have probably gotten some of the Mortal Kombat lore wrong in these videos. Like, all of the storylines are kind of a mess to try and follow from all the previous games, and it's not like I was trying to memorize it to begin with. I have just been kind of going off of what I can generally recall. Still, I feel like the rules of this tournament specifically should prevent Shao Kahn from participating in the tournament unless he is the last man standing for Outworld, or unless he is directly challenged. You know, the same kind of restrictions that Raiden and Shang Tsung had in the tournament prior to this one. And let's keep in mind, Ermac is still in this tournament for Outworld. He just beat Johnny Cage, and no one has eliminated Ermac. So Shao Khan is not the very last fighter for Outworld. He should not be allowed to initiate combat and kill Kung Lao. And since he did, it seems like Earth just won, because he broke his own rules. So now, Outworld cannot invade Earth anymore because Shao Kahn is a fucking idiot and sabotaged himself in the tournament that he had set up. So, Elder Gods, where are you at? We just won, it's over, and I want to go home. Hello? Hello? This fight is completely unnecessary. Hello? Wait, I seriously still have to fight this pain in the ass? Fine. Well, this is going to suck. Alright, Shao Kahn is a borderline unfair as hell boss fight. But he is still definitely exploitable in some ways. I just kind of needed a moment to figure out how. So things to keep in mind are that pretty much every damn attack that he does is armored. So he can just muscle through all of your attacks and then hurt you more than you just hurt him. Keeping that in mind, trying to fight him straight up will very rarely ever work out for you. Instead, I have resorted to a cheesy little strategy that exploits how he is programmed. It is not a perfect strategy, but this is how I ended up winning this fight. And once I am at a distance, I spam the hell out of Liu Kang's fireball attack. Like, non-stop the entire time. But yeah, once he misses you, just start fireballing. Shao Kahn will respond to the fireball spam in a few different ways. One of the more common ways is that he's just going to block for a long time, just eating a bunch of fiery chip damage. The other thing he might do occasionally is taunt you, and whenever he taunts you, he is just leaving himself open for full damage from a fireball. And the last thing he may do is do an attack of his own. And again, since you're at a distance, it's either going to be the javelin or the hammer. You can dodge them. So you either just need to dodge it or take the hit. Now obviously try to dodge it, but if you don't and you get hit, it's not the end of the world.
Liu Kang wins.
On your feet! For Kung Lao, the Shaolin, and Earthrealm. I cannot believe Earthrealm has won.
The Elder Gods have spoken. Earthrealm is free of Shao Kahn forever. But the price of victory was almost too steep to pay. Kung Lao's death is my fault. I encouraged him. Our triumph was not meant to be achieved in this way. I see now. He must win refers to you. But to prevent Armageddon, you needed to defeat Shao Kahn, not Shang Tsung. It cannot be. Shao Kahn is dead. Yet the future remains unchanged.
So yeah, my whole strategy for beating Shao Kahn was shoot fireballs about 5,000 times. Now, the strategy is also probably not the most exciting thing to watch, but I thought it was funny as hell when I was actually doing it, and I was in disbelief that this stupid strategy was actually working on a character that was supposed to be the final boss of the game. Also, the Liu Kang sound effect for the fireball attack sounding off like 900 times. Well, that is going to be burned into my brain forever now. Like, it is so burned into my mind at this point that this is probably going to be something I have a flashback about whenever I'm old and senile. But anyway, we won. Fuck you, Shao Khan. Earth is number one. Earth is number one. And now that we have defeated Shao Khan, we are at the end of the episode. So let's go ahead and recap everything that has happened in this episode. Well, this episode started off with a family quarrel between Shao Kahn and Kitana. Raiden saw that fight and decided to pour gasoline on the fire by saying Shao Kahn is hiding things from you, Kitana, and you can see it for yourself in the flesh pits. Naturally, Kitana believes this borderline complete stranger over her father who has raised her for thousands of years. And then she goes to check out the flesh pits. Once there, she finds out that Shang Tsung has been trying to clone her with a mix of her DNA and Tarkatan DNA. And one clone was successful, and her name is Mileena. Kitana defeats Mileena and Shang Tsung to get out of the flesh pits, and she also takes Shang Tsung to Shao Kahn in order to have him answer for his actions. But, plot twist, Shang Tsung was cloning her on Shao Kahn's orders. Turns out Shao Kahn is not Kitana's real father. He just merged her realm, named Edenia, with Outworld like he wants to do with Earthrealm. And then once the merger happened, he killed her father, who was king of Edenia, and Shao Kahn also married her mother, the queen, named Sindel. Now, the Queen Sindel died not long after that marriage under mysterious circumstances, wonder why. Still, Shao Kahn elected to raise Kitana as his daughter. I guess this is because he could raise her to be an heir, and it would be convenient since she's already royalty for Edenia, which is already now a large part of Outworld due to the merger. Anyway, he was tired of Kitana not being a good heir and decided to just go clone a new one, and that new daughter he named her Mileena. He then schedules an execution for Kitana, not seeing a point in keeping her around anymore. Her bodyguard Jade overhears this and then tries to free her but can't. So Jade then goes and sees Raiden and the other Earthrealmers for help. She ends up getting the help that she was looking for, and then we get to pilot Kung Lao. We end up controlling Kung Lao through many impressive victories, and as we do that, Liu Kang tries using the fighting as a distraction to free Kitana. Now Shao Kahn, he is not amused by Kung Lao's recent success, so he sneaks up behind Kung Lao and snaps his neck while his back is turned. Everyone sees this and is super pissed off, but not nearly as pissed off as Liu Kang. Then the very angry Liu Kang ends up putting a fire fist through Shao Kahn's chest. Shao Kahn dies before everyone's eyes, and that counts as winning the tournament for Earthrealm. So yay, Earthrealm can no longer be merged into Outworld. Everything must be good, right? Yeah, no, it's still Raiden, and Raiden still sucks at his job, so you know it's not going to be okay. Turns out the amulet is still breaking, and that indicates that nothing substantially has changed, and the events are playing out almost exactly the same as they did before, all of which leads towards the rise of the invincible Shao Kahn. But how does that happen if Shao Kahn is dead? Well, don't worry, we'll cover that in the very next episode. That is it for now. We will kick off the next episode seeing how the Outworld squad is handling the loss of the tournament and Shao Kahn. Until then, I hope you've enjoyed the episode, found some sort of entertainment in it. This has been Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor again. Take care, and I will see you all next time.
Reptile wins. Fatality.